I'm Paul.
I'm Todd. Game on.
There was that pithy start, man. I just really like our intros and
Those
segment
graphics
intros. They're
are
cool.
clean, as the kids say. Clean,
Queens,
clean,
Queens.
like a
Yeah,
laundered
clean.
shirt. They're clean.
Yeah, they are. They're perfect. How you doing, man?
I am good. Welcome to late July. It's a little
Yeah,
bit warm in Atlanta. I'm glad our studio is kept nice and crisp and cool. But it's hot out there. It's a good time to stay indoors and play video games, make video games,
yeah.
talk about video games.
I'm still Diabloing the hell out of it.
I
We're on
bet.
season 14. I played Druid for the first time. There's this guy who, one of the things I'm trying to do is find the meta builds basically that the best of the best guys are suggesting, and I tweak them. I don't usually stick strictly to script, but I want to get the basics from it. And so I asked Gemini actually. So who are the best at each class, right? In Diablo 14, and the one guy they came up with for Druid was this guy called Screamheart, and he works with Mobalytics, right? And I have to tell you something. This guy is thorough, explanatory. He's one thing I love about him, and this is a lesson to be learned by everybody, is clarity, man. So what he'll do, look, this, it's funny when you read a lot of these these meta build guys, what they do is they go, yeah, here's the build. But the build is like, you have to be playing 100 hours a day to get the gear for that build and luck out in the interim, right? Right. So, and they don't have any suggestions as to what to do if you don't do that, and this Screamheart says, look, if you don't have this, here are some alternatives until you get it, right? That, keep in mind, you don't want them permanently, but if you don't get it, these will do. If you have this mythic, this super mythic, not always the best one. You want to make sure you have this and this and this. If you don't, use this instead, right? I mean, he goes right through alternatives. If you're a casual player, I mean, he gets it, and he breaks it down so that the builds are balanced, or pit pushing, or leveling guides, and he's really thorough. And you know what? If I was when I'm dealing with vendors in the CRM world, if they were as thorough as Screamheart was, they'd have very few problems.
Clarity is a wonderful thing. I wonder if you just had asked Gemini directly, to give you a build guide. Have you done that to understand how well AI is generating build guides, or you prefer to follow the humans still at this point?
I still follow the humans. The reality is they're experienced players, okay, for the most part. AI is not an experienced player. So AI just goes out and finds stuff, right? It doesn't necessarily the right stuff. Where I will use AI sometimes is when I can't get an answer from somewhere from an experienced player. Like before I ever go to AI, I'll scan Reddit, and I'll even ask Reddit so it'll point me to posts, right? I'll watch some YouTube videos if I can find what I'm looking for. When I can't find any of that, I'll go to AI and say, well, I can't find the answers to this. Here's the suggestion. Here's the various things I do know. Give me a couple of alternatives that might work for it, and tell me why they might work and how they work. And then I'll get one out of every two is a good answer. The other one is, I know that, right? So, but humans, especially when you're gaming, I'm sorry, AI doesn't game the way a human games.
That's true. That is true. Well, we'll have to think about converting some of your precious time from Diablo and taking care of the cats to our new game in Fortnite, Paul. Because it has some build management in there, and some theory crafting. Like this could be your jam. It's a little less treasure hunting than Diablo, a little less gory, but there's some build management in there.
So how's it work?
It is
what's it called?
It's kind of like a Pokemon collection inside Fortnite. So it is called Sidekick Masters because Fortnite released sidekicks, which are these little pets that follow you around, and they're cosmetic items. They don't do all that much in the core game. So we made a game where you could collect them and capture them in the wild and train them up around play style and take them into battle, and it's pretty sweet. We just last week, so you could hop on it early and get into it. Oh, Chris was in Diablo 4.
Oh, Christopher is this guy. He's kind of in the ERP world, but he's a Renaissance man. This guy, I had a conversation with him the other day. He's amazing.
I respect that. Well, welcome, Chris.
So wait, are you telling me that you're taking what's basically an NPC and turning it into an actionable?
More or less. We're taking cosmetic NPCs, over 60 of them, adorable little puppies and kittens and dragons and dinosaurs, and turning them into playable characters. Oh, you're in. All right. I love it, Michael. That's Odie. That's a long-time OG of esports right there, chiming in. Yeah, here, Paul, I don't think I can... Oh, I can chat you. You could maybe, I don't know if you can copy and paste that into the general comments for our listeners and watchers. But this is a trailer about the game that our friends at Epic and Fortnite just posted earlier today, actually. So
is that
exactly? It is Pal World with PvP coming, Christopher. No, not yet. But if we stay on schedule within 2 weeks, there'll be PvP.
Okay, so let me. You can actually do it. You see the little. Look at the bottom of your screen, and you see that little. Looks like a TV set with a plus in it.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it's telling me I can't put it in the public comments. But
do you want to show it?
You can.
Yeah, you can show it with that.
Okay, let's see. We're on the. You steal their stuff. Now you want to steal the brain rot vibe, huh?
I wouldn't. So do you see how to do that? You just look in the little plus sign. It'll say if it's an MP4, you go to video file.
Does that work?
Oh yeah, hold on. I'll add it to the stage.
Can you get it? I don't know if we'll get sound.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. You are adorable.
There you go, gang.
That is cool.
Yeah, hop in now.
Well, Zen Brothers. I don't know what that means. Varaxian Games 8921. What is Zen Brothers TJ? By the way,
I don't know Varaxian. I'm not sure.
Tell us what that means. I don't have a clue.
Chris, nice. All right.
He's a brilliant guy. I have to give him credit. He's been coming to CRM Players a lot as and commenting, and we're actually going to have him on one of our episodes because he's developed a schema basically for ERP. It can apply to CRM and CX that will universalize it's not the subject for here, but we'll get into another time. But let's say this.
I mean, a lot of the best tech people, they definitely dip their hands into video games in addition to enterprise B2B software, right? So.
Oh, and by the way, Thomas, hi. We didn't get a chance. Baumgartner didn't get a chance to say hi to you. So,
playing Pal World. Awesome.
Yeah, I've never played. So what? Tell me this, because here's where I'm ignorant. I still less than 3. or is that a smiley face of some
I
kind?
think that looks like a heart to me.
Is that? Oh, wow, that is. There's got to be an emoji that's
I
better than
think he's
using two characters.
sending love.
Well, we love you too, Varaxian Games 8921, whoever you are. If you want to, please say your name in the comments so we can
Yeah, we love to hear where people are
shout out.
from and what you're into.
So okay, so since I don't play Pal World at all, tell me what the differences between, tell me what the similarities are and the differences are between your game and Pal World, since I am clueless.
Yeah, I mean, what all these games have in common is, you know, you're collecting pets and you're training them up and you're trying to collect very rare items. And you know what we do, our turn-based combat system that actually has like a dice rolling mechanic is pretty cool and different and just very unlike anything you'd find inside Fortnite. And then I won't talk about the PvP because that's still coming,
Right.
but it's going to be very, very cool. So at the end of the day, you know, a lot of what we're trying to do is just bring these experiences to a Fortnite audience that are not core Fortnite, where you just build and you run and you shoot people in the head, because that's great. But there's already amazing experiences there, which I like, and we're just trying to broaden the audience, you know, and the type of genres you can find inside Fortnite. So we look for things that really stretch what the engine can do, and this is a good example of that.
Well, to me, honestly, just from the standpoint of the idea, taking an NPC and turning it into an actionable character is astonishing. I mean, you see attempts at that even in the Diablo 4s of the world, and it doesn't work, actually. I mean, the NPCs might activate all of a sudden, but they're never meant to be NPCs when they're like that, right? In your case, you're literally saying, okay, you can capture them, you can train them, and then you can turn them into, you know, part of your action team.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. You build a squad of them and you use them in battle, and there's all the different variants of them. So yeah, it's been cool. It's been a cool project. It's still super early, so now begins the real work. I mean, it was real work for the team shipping it, but with this games as a service type approach, we hope it finds an audience and we can listen to that audience. We've got an active Discord where we're trying to get feedback from them. A lot of the themes that we've talked about around community building, and it all starts when you actually have a live group playing your game and telling us what they love and what they hate and what they want more of. So yeah, pretty exciting for the team that's been working on it.
Well, I remember it was years ago. I mean, you know, well, let me back up. I mean, one of the things that I think is really smart about what you've done is you've added a whole, almost a subgenre to the game, right? Like a full scale subgenre to the game, meaning, and to your point in the very beginning, these are figures that everyone, you know, everyone in Fortnite. I when I say everyone, obviously I don't mean everyone, but many of the people who play Fortnite, I imagine, have favorite NPCs they just like. It's like, oh, that's so cute, you know, and then they're turning them into, you know, action items or action
Playable
figures.
characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the characters that they can play with, and all of a sudden you've quote humanized them, even though they're obviously not human. You've made them something that they can, it's, you know, they can actually work with, and that's immersive as hell, and they already have an affection. And then what happens to that figure, because I imagine, like anything else in Fortnite, they could be shot in the head too, right? It'll matter to those people because they already had a connection to it, right, to begin with, which I think is fantastic. And I do, and it's actually, if you can universalize that elsewhere, that would be something, you know, meaning in other games that are similar with NPCs. It's like that movie, what was that movie with Ryan Reynolds, I think it was, where he was an NPC, but he ended up evolving into an active
What was
character.
that? Player One? I saw
No,
that.
no, it wasn't Ready. No, it wasn't Ready Player One.
No, it wasn't. Come on, chat. You might be able to tell us. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was an NPC in a game, and it starts out where he's in a bank and they get robbed or something. And
Free Guy.
that's it.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah, it was pretty well done.
Yeah, I liked it. It was one of the movies I enjoyed watching. I can't say it was one of the greatest movies I've ever watched, but I did like it. I like anything with Ryan Reynolds, though, pretty typically. Um, so I think that's superb, really, what you did there. I mean, kudos. Okay, so let me ask you this question, since of course we have to give it some sort of B2B spin here.
Yep.
Um, so steal steal a brain rot. What is? I don't even know what that is.
That's we could do many episodes on that, Paul.
Okay, I never heard of it.
It's a
Free
it's
guy.
a
There you
it's the
go.
whole genre that is in Roblox and in Fortnite, where you're taking these brain rot kind of AI generated characters, and you have some, and I have a opportunity where I can steal them from you. So I mean, there's yeah, it's quite a popular genre and IP. So
That
yeah,
was
it's a whole thing.
in the early days. That was an equivalent, not exactly the same, was a big deal in Diablo 4, which was the PvP part of that, right? Where you could be killed by another player if you entered PvP, right? No other way could I be killed, not that I recall anyway, by another player unless I went into the PvP areas where then they could just ambush me and kill me.
Mm,
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not playing hardcore, so what? Right,
right.
so ultimately, I survive no matter what they do. So,
Odie's asking, is this on Twitch? If you're asking Odie about our conversation, I don't think it's yet on Twitch. I don't know, Paul. You don't live stream this on YouTube, do you?
no,
Okay.
YouTube, no, yes, it's on YouTube.
Oh, it is. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's
Apparently, it's
under
on YouTube.
look under Players Productions Network, you'll find it. Should be live
Paul
streaming now.
Paul and his cohort do many shows related to business primarily, and we started this to add a little bit of the gaming flavor to business folks, and add the business flavor for gaming folks.
Mhm.
But we're generally trying to talk about lessons from gaming that business or B2B can learn from. So,
Yeah, and both of us have been keenly aware of that for a long time. Well, I mean, you were in B2B before you were in this,
yep,
and I was a gamer before I was in B2B,
that's
right?
right.
So,
You have a leg in each world. So.
I'm an elderly gamer. I'm wondering what kind of demographic I fit into. 76-year-old Diablo 4 player.
I
Like a demographic of
mean,
what, like 5 people?
I saw the other day a third of gamers are over 50. Now, I don't think they're mostly playing Diablo 4. I think that
No.
might be a little more of a Wordle kind of crowd, but
Yeah.
but
Well,
so
you know what though? I was reading Reddit forums and these guys say, "Yeah, well, I'm older," and it turns out they're like 48. And I want to say, even though I'd never do, is I don't think you know what older means. Oh, I remember Populous.
Populous was great.
Yeah,
I
that you
love
play. It was
Populous.
God. You were
Yeah,
God.
you were a god. It was a
Yeah,
god game. It
I
was a
had
whole
it.
genre. That
I
was a
played
really
it.
good game. You could
It
sculpt
was
the land, and then you could,
yeah.
yeah, it was
It was
great.
very cool game. I love God games. Actually,
Yeah.
I think they're amazing because they're actually like uh, master organizing and master. They're well. I hate to put it in this way. They're master controlling too. Um, so 56,
All right, we
56.
all right, we got a
You're
club. We
you're a
we almost
youngster,
we almost can make a Counter Strike team at this point. We need a few more.
an older Counter Strike team with arthritis, an
Yeah,
arthritic
exactly.
Counter Strike team. Oh gosh,
Oh,
I think what you're onto something. I actually think what you're onto is kind of big because
I mean, we'll see. We're hopefully you'll see additional games like this from us. But this was a big one. I mean, the team. Props to them. I did not code it. I did not do the art. I barely was involved in any design. We just have a really capable team that was passionate about this genre, and they put it together. And I mean, the nice thing about Fortnite, just to touch on business, I know you had a B2B question too, but one of the hardest things in gaming right now, even when you make a video game, is how you get people to discover that game.
Yep.
And we picked a theme of using these sidekicks that Epic was really pushing and putting some marketing behind it, and because of that, we've gotten a lot of players. So, oh, I know Odie is. Yeah, I'm well aware.
Hey,
Odie.
if I can call you Odie, you're not accounting for arthritis, right? So you actually need to be dexterous with your hands when you're playing things like Counter Strike. Diablo 4, you pretty much need to be able
Cerebral.
to push button number. No, I'm not a controller guy. I'm a PC gamer. Period. I game on the only controller I use is really just the Steam version of the Lenovo Go S, right, and the upper end version of it. I use that when I travel, right?
Right.
But on
No,
my laptop.
I wasn't saying control. I was saying it's cerebral. You know, like you can use your hand eye twitch.
Well, I mean,
Don't
you
have
want
to
to know
be
something? This
quite as
druid
much.
character I have called Sonic Shred is the druid character that Screamhearts kind of clued me onto. The my operations basically go like this. First of all, when you're using a mouse, using the left mouse key on a game is annoying, and PC is annoying, right? Because it has to hit something, a character, in order to trigger of some kind. It has to be within proximity of a character. So I just remapped it to a number 5, so it would go off, right? So at the right key is fine. So, but here's the thing: I'm getting trillions of DPS with this character, right? And it's like, I would say that if I'm averaging it out, I'm getting about 8 or 900 billion, but I'm getting a lot of 8 trillion. I don't get 10 trillion, but I get right below it, a lot because of critical hits. But my entire sequences is 3 to start something that just stays on the entire time. Right click on the mouse, which starts lightning strikes and stays on as long as there's some, fury there. And then the sequence goes, I am not joking here. The sequence, then I go 5-4-1 for defenses, and I'm sorry, 5-4-2 defenses, and then launching something, the shred, launching the part of the storm that actually like quintuples my offense, and then the rest of the time I'm going 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1- I have to recycle them because the defenses are up and the cooldown is over, right? So that's it.
Right.
That's the extent of my cerebral work.
Well, you did all the work up front, or you asked AI to point you to a good build or something.
Yeah, well, I would call myself I'm an OG on Diablo 4, although that means old guy in my case, right? And that right. But but I pay attention, right? And I'm a student also. Like I do with everything, right? All the books I've written, all that stuff. I'm a student, right? So I put in the time to figure it out. And once you figure it out, and stop whining and complaining like 98% of Reddit does, then you can actually make this work. You can make things work. So your buddies just entered the studio. Just so
Oh,
you know,
nice. Yeah,
he's
we're
here.
gonna have a good conversation in Studio B when we make it over there.
Yeah, it takes a. Well, actually, interestingly enough, Michael or Odie, I met somebody who's sort of doing that. Um, Similar, not so much for the dementia senior care, but more rehab. I would say so. It's already started.
I agree with you. Yeah, we've done a little bit of that, Odie, with
Thomas,
adaptive gaming and our
yep.
friends at Shepherd Center, and getting back mobility and people suffering from injuries, and then yeah, the older demographic is. I mean, we're well, Paul's there, I'm there, half of
No,
our chat
you're
is
not there
there.
yet. You're not there
We're
yet.
getting there. Like it's a need, even in terms of entertainment. So
Well, Thomas, I tried Eve Online. The problem with Eve Online is it's online, meaning it's kind of multiplayer. And I do not like multiplayer because I used to play that way. And then I would be on a team of some kind. And then I get interrupted by a business call, and I just kind of walk away to grab the call. And of course, my entire team would get wiped out, right? Because I'm not doing anything but standing there, basically. So I kind of gave up. Like with Diablo 4, they added single player now. They've added a single player where you have no access to trading or things like that, which I never did anyway. So I literally signed up. It's called SSF. And I literally signed up for it to make sure that that's how I was playing. Okay. Wow, we're getting deep here, man. We're starting to get into equipment.
I love it.
No, listen, we actually, it wouldn't be a bad show at some point for you and us to talk about the equipment for gaming.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good. I'm a Razer guy too, although I'm using the Corsair Galleon keyboard, which is the Stream Deck built-in keyboard, which has literally no use at all, as it turns out. Well, the reason is it's on the right side. And if you're playing a game, and on a PC, your left hand's likely to be hitting the numbers. Your right hand's likely to be using the mouse. What are you going to do? Drop the mouse and then start hitting, or reach over like this? I mean, it's literally the wrong. If they're smart, they would have put it detachable. And then you attach it on the left, and then you can remove the finger you're going 1 with, instead hit a macro here, right? Which will handle 154 or 541 or 2 or whatever. But you get the point. It was just dumb. It's a great concept. As a keyboard, it's genuinely fantastic for the game. Solved a number of home automation issues I had with the keyboard too. But as a concept, great concept. As in execution, fail. Big hashtag fail on that one. Oh, wow.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
So you're okay now, I presume, right, Odie? You're okay? Just say yes, please. So anyway, I am. Congratulations, first of all. We're not going to get to my question because our guest is here.
All right, we'll save it for a future episode.
Just think in terms of the project side of it itself, okay? That's what I want to talk about. The actual project, okay?
All right.
So what are you thinking? Time to head over?
Yes. Let's meet in Studio B and introduce our awesome guest.
All right. So just for those of you who don't know how we work here, when we go to Studio B, our guest will already be on. He'll be up and in the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Just so they know.
Remember, there's a lot of stairs, and I'm
so
I
be
might
careful.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. But remember one thing: use the banister when you walk.
Oh, that's true. That's right. I forgot. I'm not going to let that happen again. All right, I'll see you up there.
All right, see you in a minute. Wow.
All right.
Well, so welcome, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm doing great. Paul, Todd, thank you for having me on today. I'm really excited to be here.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you here, Studio B. Glad you made it safely. And Odie, yes, it is interesting. I'm glad you're with us as well.
So, Jonathan, one of the things we traditionally do is we let either Todd or I, depending on who knows the guest, do an introduction, which will make your ears burn probably. So just a warning in advance.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to give a very brief introduction to our awesome guest today, who I met in Atlanta. So he's a fellow Atlantean, and the reason he's interesting,
Jason Momoa.
I like your placement of Jonathan, because he's like in between my gaming circle and your CRM circle visually, right? He's uniting our worlds because he's spent over a decade in the world of CRM, and this has taken place in the restaurant industry, in the retail industry, and very recently in the video game industry with our friends at Ubisoft. He's about to transition to his next consulting world of multiple projects. So with that, he can do an extended intro, but CRM Gaming Mastermind, Jonathan Lawson, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Mastermind. Wow. Let's see if I live up to that. So yeah, hey everybody, I'm Jonathan, and I am a CRM professional in the gaming space. I think my journey here, just to speak to that, is I'm a lifelong fan of gaming myself. It's been as much of a part of my life as anything I can remember. It's an art form that I deeply love and a business that I feel that I have a really good understanding of at this point. And when I was growing up, I was never really the type to be a programmer or a game developer. But in the early 2000s, when E3 was so much bigger, like seeing all the pageantry and hype around those shows and all the marketing and community excitement really got me into the idea of being on the business side of gaming. So it's something that I really had in the back of my mind when I went after my master's in marketing back at the University of Alabama. But earlier in my career, I didn't start out in gaming and ended up in the retail space, as you said, working in CRM analytics, and got a really deep understanding of SQL and using things like Tableau to help answer some complex business questions. And then made my way over to another great Atlanta company in Inspire Brands, where I became a people manager in that CRM analytics space. And all the while, still hoping to someday break into the gaming stratosphere, right? And about 6 years into my work in CRM analytics, to my surprise, Ubisoft actually reached out to me, which was really exciting. And I don't think they realized how big of a gaming nerd I was when they first started talking to me, but that quickly became evident, and ended up getting the opportunity to work on their CRM strategy space. So got into being a CRM senior strategy manager in the space, and worked on some of their biggest titles and Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six and The Crew, and then more standalone brands like For Honor and Brawlhalla, really heavily entrenched in that live gaming space. And that really brings me to where I am today. A lot of the work that I did was also on smaller scale studio projects and things from independent developers that Ubisoft was working on publishing. And a lot of that, I could see that CRM database infrastructure really just wasn't there in a lot of cases. And these smaller studios didn't have these lifecycle playbooks in place. So I saw the opportunity to enter into the consulting world in the space and help people do the work I'm passionate about for their own games, their own studios. And that's why I'm in this new adventure of consulting today. And I'm really excited to announce that my first client is NASF. That's the Network of Academic and Scholastic Esports Federation. And they're doing some really cool work I'm excited to help out with around schools and communities, just helping use scholastic esports as a tool for youth development and teaching. So it's an exciting new adventure, and really happy to be in it.
So I have two questions for you. One,
Sure.
what games you actually play, and then two is when you get into CRM itself.
Yeah, so games I actually play, I'm all over the place currently. I'm playing the new 007 game. I really love really engaging single player games, and still playing Valheim with my friends when I get the opportunity to, and jump into Helldivers 2 on occasion. But getting into CRM, to me, it was that kind of connection between player behavior, customer behavior, and data that really drove me to the space. I started out when I was in school in management information systems, and the more I got into psychology classes around marketing, the more I saw that there was a really good connection to make, and wanted to jump on that space as a career choice.
So was CRM kind of like something you knew about and on your radar even when you were pursuing your marketing degree?
Honestly, no. It's something that I sort of found the connection for later on. I think earlier on it was more about qualitative marketing research, and I decided that I wanted to start pursuing more database-oriented roles in SQL. So I got an actual certification at Emory doing exactly that as well, and then found that there was a really good space in CRM that kind of connected both points of what I do. So it was a good
It's actually
transition.
pretty. Let's say this: having been in CRM for 30 years, um, you're one of the few who've made both connections. No, seriously. I mean, back in the earliest days of CRM, the actual idea we had of it was much bigger than what it became. Which was it was going to be a strategy, it was going to be a philosophy. Behavior was the core to it, as opposed to, not as opposed to, in conjunction with, but more important than even the data associated with it. And that's how we looked at it, and we pushed hard for it. Marketplace ended up basically turning it the other way and saying, no, it's actually highly operational technology, that also has obviously an analytic component. And all the other stuff became kind of, there was an interim period where we had social CRM, which is 2008 to 11. And then it became CX, really. And then customer engagement is where all the, we'll call it the right brain went, right? So we've spent several years relinking everything. It's not gonna. It's a gigantic industry. There's work there to be done all the time. But let's say this: it didn't fulfill at least the dream a bunch of us had back in the day. I mean, look, I wrote 8 books on it, and the reality is that all of them said what didn't happen. Right. CRM, look, I wrote a book called The Bible of the Industry, and even that's wrong. Right. It says it was called CRM Speed of Light. Right. So um, you are literally one of the very few, and I mean very few, who get the right and the left brain interconnection. Unusual, believe me. But
Yeah.
congratulations at the same time.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Jonathan, what just at the highest level, I guess, would you say makes gaming different from other industries when it comes to, let's just say, customer loyalty? Are there patterns you've seen that make it different?
Sure. So I think one thing that really differentiates gaming is uh, many companies have fans and a long history of fandom built up around their brands. But I think gaming has a community aspect and a tech savvy aspect of their consumer base that isn't really present in a lot of other industries. I mean, I'm sure you've both seen people who care very deeply about what their favorite gaming companies are doing. They will make their opinions heard, and you have to make sure that you're keeping that base of people very engaged and satisfied, because you want them to continue building your community and keeping it healthy so that they're bringing new people into the space over time.
So if you're tracking effectively, let's say on the back end, you're tracking the journey of these fans. Um, how are you taking what you learn and supporting the actual idea of a community, as opposed to behavior for, optimize offers and sales? How do you support, from the standpoint of behavior, the community side of it?
Yeah, it's a great question. When you're collecting data for your community and accounting for how they're interacting with your brands, I think it's important to really look at the types of interactions they're having with your game. And that can be within the game, how they're actually playing. In the case of live service games like Rainbow Six Siege or For Honor, it's especially relevant, where if you see players who are interacting, as an example, in For Honor, if they want to be knights or Vikings or samurai, you have that level of detail. And then you have how they're actually integrating themselves into the game when they play. You know, what game modes are they participating in? Where are they spending the majority of their time? What items in game are they interacting with? This is all information you can use to help understand what your community is actually doing from a behavior perspective, and really get a good idea on how to serve them best in the future.
So
Nice.
many years ago, this is many years ago, when Rome Total War came out. First time, the first of the first, long before Sega actually acquired them. There was a very interesting thing that happened. I remember this because I actually spoke about it at a Gartner conference because I was so fascinated by what had happened. This is back in the kind of earlier days of the internet too, in terms of capabilities. So Rome Total War, of course, was supposed to be a relatively accurate reproduction of the Roman Empire, and of course the capstone of the whole thing was being able to zoom in on a battle and have full battle tactics going on with full graphically built out characters and phalanxes and so on and so forth. Well, this group grew up on the internet. There was 38 people in it, and there was literally they said, no, this game is not accurate. We have to build an accurate mod for it. And this was the key, is they made Total War moddable back then. We have to build a complete, basically build a game, take the engine and build a new game. And they had, these 38 people would build out a community around them. They gave themselves titles, and I'm not joking, like PR, right? I mean, they had a whole team of people. They were all over the world. They never met each other in person once. In the meantime, there were fights going on over the color of the flag of a particular unit in a Roman general's cohort, right? So it was really like astounding. And they published it, and it was at the time gigantic. It was like 800 megabytes, right? It was the mod. And it was, that took like 10 days to download back then. But 800,000 people downloaded it ultimately, right? So it was astounding. But the thing that was astounding more than anything was an online community that actually had a fully organized online community, came in, built something based on the love of a specific game. And I see those elements. I don't see anything quite that organized yet. To this day, I don't see that. But I do see those elements a lot. And a lot of it now, because you can track the journeys, are really important to nurture. And it kind of goes to what you were just saying. But the big question to me, honestly, is because you're also now, you're a strategist too, right? And that's mission critical piece of strategy right there, is what do you do to create that, not just to identify elements of community, but to create that level of actual organized community to support it, to support the game, which will obviously lead to sales. I mean, that's like a net guarantee, right? So how do you, when you're thinking strategy and let's say you have a good sense of the gaming thing, or the gaming behaviors, what are the elements you incorporate in your own thinking to identify that?
Yeah, very, very good question. And I think there's a few general rules you could use when you're creating just a launch strategy for a campaign. And I think it depends too on the brand, and it depends on whether this is a product launch or new content for an existing game. But you always want to look at the onboarding process for the player getting into the game for the first time. You want to have a very well structured welcome journey, progression journey as players are interacting with the new content, and then lapsed and win back journeys for when somebody does start churning off of a brand and maybe you need to win them back at a later date. Because especially on like a live service game, there are a lot of super fans who will continue playing, but people take breaks. So you want to make sure that you've got that infrastructure set up from the beginning. And then when it comes to the content itself, you want to make sure that you're targeting the right people. So you're going to have customer segments, hopefully, in your database infrastructure that you've spent some time tailoring the content to based on your community's preferences. And you want to make sure that your VIPs are being targeted. Players that might have a special interest in the new content launching are prioritized, and that people that are maybe showing waning interest are given awareness, but maybe not annoyed too much when it comes to keeping them engaged. There's a fine balance, I think, between making sure your player base is aware of what you're doing and making them feel involved in what you're releasing, and just pestering them about things, hoping they'll buy it. You have to really respect that community setup and get good engagement going before you can monetize people. Because if it's always about urgency and just bringing people in the door as quickly as you possibly can in every single launch, you're getting maybe short-term gain and profit, but sacrificing a portion of your player base who's ultimately probably going to leave because you were too aggressive in trying to acquire them.
Jonathan, have you seen for gaming companies, and maybe for some of your other work, maybe for a restaurant QSR brand too, is there typically a segment of super fan or something like that is a segment that might be a unique target? And then a second question, is there now starting to be a segment of, I will call it, the creator, like Paul said, whether you're making a mod or you're a Twitch streamer or you're making video content, it's so much a part of gaming, and some other brands too, where people are a fan of Lululemon or Chick-fil-A, whatever it is, and they're making content. So it's kind of a segmentation customer question around how you've seen that, or how you might recommend companies think about super fan, creator. Are they the same? Or are they different?
Yeah. I think that when you talk about a super fan, in my mind, that's going to be somebody who is engaging with your brand in multiple ways. So using gaming as an example, rather than just focusing on somebody who has a lot of playtime in your game, I might look at somebody who has a lot of playtime and maybe consistent play sessions. Maybe somebody who is buying the latest content that your brand's releasing on a regular basis. Just different touch points that you can point to and say this person is highly engaged. I think that's how you identify a highly engaged customer versus a true VIP that's reaching as many different points of contact as they can around your business. Mm-hmm. And then to your point, that has now become a aspect of creating, right? Like YouTubers, different types of Instagram influencers or TikTok, people who love the brand so much that they are actively advocating for them and talking about them all the time and building an audience around their love and their passion for the brand. I think that's the ultimate VIP. So there's definitely a segment to be targeted there if you're able to identify that.
So that segment is sort of a delicate segment in its own way. This is just an example. There's this guy named Cliptus, and he's a Diablo 4 kind of, I'll call him an influencer, super fan influencer. He was doing well enough to quit his job as a real estate manager to just do this full time. And he has his own website. He has his Discord server, He has, I don't know if he does much with Twitch, but he's on YouTube all the time. But he's obviously making enough money to give what had to be a reasonably lucrative career, right? But that's also a delicate place for the gaming company to be, because it's, borderline could go over that border, right? Over that line. So how do you deal with those kind of people where they're not just, to your point, the VIPs with multiple touch points, they're actually making a living at it. And they are getting specialized treatment from, in this case, Blizzard, obviously. But how do you deal with those specific kind of people?
It's tricky because in a way they're a marketing channel unto themselves. So you have to make sure that they have access and that their feedback is valued. When you're releasing a new game or a new update for your game, you want to make sure that people that have those followings are involved, and that they're able to get their opinion out there. But to your point, it can be a double-edged sword. If they have a huge following around your game and you release content and they don't like it, they can influence a lot of people in a negative way really quickly. So it's important to keep them involved, and you want that unbiased opinion. You want that feedback, but you don't necessarily want them involved at the outset of every launch every time. But it's kind of like your loud minority of players are super important, and you want to listen to. And I would consider someone who is so passionate and so loud that they have created a social media following around your business to be the top of the top in terms of volume, so to speak. But you want to make sure that you're giving your entire audience a fair shake, because as loud and influential as those people can be, they don't necessarily represent what the majority of your customer base is doing. So you want to make sure that you're listening to those people, respecting what they say, adapting where you can, but you also don't want to completely change the direction of your business based solely on what they say.
Yeah, can't overemphasize. Yeah, just because they have a following, their opinion may or may not be valid or good for the general player population. So yeah, it makes sense. These days, because there are so many touch points, obviously gaming is great because you have that first party view to every action a player is taking inside the video game, right? Inside Brawlhalla or a live service game. And that's very rich data on how they're behaving. But now there's all these touch points outside, TikTok and YouTube and Reddit and Discord. Are you seeing game companies and CRMs be active and actually effective at, harnessing sentiment and what are kind of the trends that you're seeing in that area?
Yeah, so I think gaming companies are becoming more sophisticated in data scraping, web scraping, getting to those online points of view across your social media platforms like your Reddits and really gaming forums, TikTok. I think it is definitely something that is considered, and kind of comes back to that looking at MVP data as that really influential smaller portion of the customer base. But my experience so far is that you're still looking at actual behavior data above all else to understand what your whole customer base is actually doing. So yeah, it's considered, it's collected, but I think when it comes to CRM communications, you're really trying to work with the wider customer base to start with, and then kind of click down into those subsegments of different players that you could influence in different ways depending on how they're interacting with brands.
So let me go a completely different direction for a minute. So what CRM platforms are you familiar with?
Mainly, I've used Salesforce, and that's the majority of it. Lots of different database platforms. Like I think I've been around Databricks and AWS and the full gambit of customer database management systems. But as far as messaging is concerned, I've been at that high level end of Salesforce.
Okay, I'm curious for obvious reasons. Salesforce was actually my client for. Actually, I've known them. Jesus, I've known them since they were founded, 1999.
Oh wow!
Well, Benioff wrote 3 forwards to my books, but I've known him since 2003. Sort of up and down, I'd say. So he's a handful. I mean, I was also an industry analyst for many years. I'm retired from that part. But the reason I'm bringing it up is you don't see, let's say this, the gaming esports segment is not one that the CRM enterprise platforms in particular have concentrated much on at all. It's not that they're not being used by those segments, but to me, what drives that is when I see an industry vertical associated with it, which has all the expertise associated with that industry vertical as part of a Salesforce or Oracle or whatever practice. On the other hand, entertainment, when it comes to, I mean, a lot of that's because they're B2B, platforms, but all of them want to be in B2C, all of them, no matter what they tell you. There's always been part of that. And a lot of them have gone into actual sports, regular sports, the historical sports, let's call them, not esports. But what would you tell them if you're talking to them about why they should have a devoted vertical practice for gaming?
That is a great question. I think gaming today is bigger and more influential than it's ever been. And I think there's an opportunity for companies that are mostly B2B, but want that B2C connection to really look at what gaming companies are doing and how they're building those community connections, and how involved you're able to get in actually understanding what your customer base wants at this really deep and personal level, and really become part of it yourself. I think it's a space that, if you're in entertainment, if you want to cross into gaming, it's a great way to not just increase your exposure to entertainment, but also get into some of the most passionate, tech-savvy customer bases that you've ever seen, that can really help move your business forward in a way more personalized direction for your messaging and your life cycles.
I think, to your point, the company that does sort of get that was Microsoft, for obvious reasons. They went out and just bought gaming companies, but now look what they're doing for them.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of lessons learned there.
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan, we've only got a few minutes left, so it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the lightning round. I'm going to ask you just a couple questions, but keep it to a few, 5 words or less.
Okay.
So, favorite game of all time?
Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Wow.
Okay. most underrated game?
Prey 2017.
Okay. Prey was a good game. Best game mechanic?
I would say lock on.
Explain.
Thinking Z targeting back in Ocarina of Time, where you could flip between different enemies, was just really revolutionary at the time, and just awesome for open world RPGs.
Okay. Your top recommendation for a business book that everyone should read?
I would say Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell.
I don't think I've read that. I've read all the other Gladwell books. All right. I'll put it on my
Very
list. A gaming trend everyone is overestimating?
I'd say AI game development, and explaining it briefly, I think, yes, you can use tools to streamline and speed up some of the development process, but you're not going to replace artists and creators who have these really great ideas that are making these great games. It's about giving them the tools they need to be successful, not replacing them.
Okay. Human taste still matters in your view. How about a trend that everyone is underestimating?
I'm going to come back to AI and say AI business operations. I think being able to automate a lot of these mundane day-to-day tasks in business and focus more on creating the strategies and getting to the insights that you need faster, I think that's really going to revolutionize how fast companies can operate and how well their output is going to move the businesses forward in the future.
I tend to agree with you. I'm doing a lot of that right now, trying to automate the boring stuff. And I think there will be a lot of one-person startups, or small person because of that. So, all right. Very good. Paul, any final questions?
No, but actually I'm impressed with you, Jonathan, I have to say.
Thank you.
Just stick around for a couple minutes after the show, okay?
Okay, we'll do.
All right, Jonathan. How should people get a hold of you? I know you're transitioning from Ubisoft to this new gig. So for now, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah. So right now, I would say LinkedIn is the way to go. Working on a website currently. Unfortunately, it's not ready for the podcast just yet, but you can find me at linkedin.com/n/Jonathan Lee Lawson. That's JonathanLee. Lawson. Give everybody my middle name there. But if you have any needs on building a CRM around your business, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man.
Thank you.
both so much.
We will see you soon. And remember,
We'll
just
see you in
stick
a bit.
around.
Stick around in the green room.
Yeah.
Will do.
He is smart, man. That is a smart young man.
There you go. You got some strategy. You got some tech. Some right brain, left brain.
That part was. I wasn't being facetious at all. I mean, most of the CRM universe. It has, as you know from meeting a lot of them in IRL, has a lot of wonderful people, and we're truly wonderful people. But the companies themselves are just insanely left-brained, which is why IRL is right-brained, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically the counterweight, So it's our version of Counter-Strike, right? So, but he's got it. He's got what I used to call whole brain CRM back when I first started out. He's figured that out. He really has.
That's good.
So it's very impressive.
Well, I think it's good. It's good to be cross-trained. It's like in sports, when you play multiple sports and you get well-rounded. Well, he's cross-trained in multiple CRM domains, right?
We can call him either Jim Thorpe or Bo Jackson or
there you go. Deion Sanders, he's
right, Deion Sanders of CRM/gaming.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we did it. Another one down, and we'll see each other again in about a month, right?
Yeah. Well, I would love to see you sooner, but I'm going literally nowhere until August 13th when I'm heading to Chicago for a visit some friends. If you happen to be up in the DC area, though, you make sure you get a hold of me.
Awesome. I will.
All right, sir. Shall we depart the premises?
Yes, let's close it out.
All right. I will see you again in a month.
All right. He was Paul. I'm Todd. And that was Game On.
This has been a Players Productions Network digital broadcast.